Yes.
Clive Maistry. Jeez, dude, it's been a long time. I think the last time I bumped into you was at Summer Cup.
It was a very long time. That's correct. And that was the last time I've seen you. Correct. Yes.
So how you been keeping since then? And more importantly, are you still sane after, what is it now, going into 11 weeks of lockdown?
You know what? I've honestly lost a track of the days. I sometimes need to be reminded that that's Monday or Friday for that matter. And I got to tell you, initially it started off as a bit of a rest because I've been working so much and my call time sometimes at 5 a.m. and you're getting to bed at 11 at night. And initially when I think the lockdown started, I was like, yeah, I can get my 7 hours of normal sleep a day. And then it just turned into a bit much. And, you know, I think it starts to take its toll on you and you go, something does not feel right. Especially, I think, with fitness as well. I mean, I go sometimes twice a day and not being able to go anymore, I think it started to affect me a bit.
Sorry. When you say when you go twice a day, you're saying you go to gym twice a day?
Yeah.
Oh, just checking.
Yeah, no, I'll do a cardio and a weight session alternatively, just because the time factor thing, yeah.
And obviously lockdown has killed that for you.
It hasn't really killed it for me. Thankfully, over the years, I managed to get together a few like bits and pieces of equipment here and there, like a belt or weight belt rather, and then some weights here and there. And I recently bought one of those balls. What do you call them? Those exercise balls to add to the collection. So I've got a little bit of a mini home gym where I can do different types of exercises. Obviously, not the whole range, but enough to keep my fitness levels up, I think.
And keep your head sort of still firmly placed on your body.
And keep me sane.
Yes. Talking about sanity, you are one of those unfortunate few that have had to celebrate a birthday in the midst of lockdown. How was that experience for you?
You know what? It was pretty challenging, I've got to tell you, because every year, like, I'm either in Cape Town or with the family or something like that. And this year, it was very different. I did miss having people around. It wasn't the best thing, buying your own cake and candles. And I mean, I think I've got a great voice, but singing to yourself as well wasn't the best idea.
Yeah.
But I had a very cool mate. She dropped off some goodies at the complex gate for me. So it was a good day.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, I know I did wish you on the day, but here's another voice for you to say sort of happy birthday. Hope you had a wonderful lockdown birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now tell me, obviously lockdown has impacted a heck of a lot of people just from a work perspective. You're one of those people that has been sort of negatively affected by lockdown?
I have been, yeah. Initially, I thought it wouldn't, you go, it can't be me. And I got the letter a few weeks ago that I wasn't deemed essential staff. And in my head, I thought at the time, I mean, you think about entertainment during times like this, and you think that is something that keeps people going, watching new content. And at the end of the day, I suppose nobody was safe. Nobody could have planned for it either. So yeah, I was affected by it. And in the process, I've been trying to tackle a few things that I've been put on hold for, I think, a few years, like a podcast and a vlog show as well. So it's given me time to focus on it. But at the end of the day, especially at times like this, you want to look for things that are obviously going to bring in some income. So that's been the challenge, I think.
And keeping sort of in touch with friends, probably old work colleagues, can we say old work colleagues now, but work colleagues, etc. Has that been challenging, or was that sort of some of the big things that have been keeping you, like you said, sane?
No, funny enough, and maybe it's just my experience. I feel like people that I know on a daily basis, especially some of your close mates, I think we're all feeling it. And there were times of silence where you hear from nobody for days on end. And you almost feel alienated and you think, okay, I've been forgotten or something like silly like that. But you got to also bear in mind they're also going through the same thing as you, if not worse. And I think it's important to check up on each other, but at the same time, I think the bit of solitude as well has helped me put things into perspective, and you get to see, I think, who's really there for you at the end of the day. Especially, I mean, personally, I've been locked down solo, so it's been challenging. I think I must have picked up a few personalities of my own, but it's been, yeah, pros and cons, I suppose.
Are you open to talk a little bit more about these other personality traits that you've picked up, or other personalities? Would you like to introduce us to any of them?
Well, I mean, not in terms of spirituality. I mean, I hope if there's a shrink watching this, I mean, I need help. Well, I think, funny, I mean, it wasn't the case at all. To keep myself sane and still keeping sane, I put together a bit of a daily roster where I get up at a certain time, you know, focusing my attention on different things. I've put in apartment chores into it, fitness training, meal prep. So I'm trying to keep sane like that. Thankfully, I bought a PS4 just before all of this went to SH1T. So that keeps me going a bit, and obviously the good old Netflix. So yeah.
On a more serious note, Clive, obviously the sports and entertainment, arts, culture sort of sector is and has been, let's call it, obliterated during the last number of weeks. And we now know that 1st of June, the next level of the lockdown kicks in, but still the sports, arts and culture sector are essentially still, let's call it, outlawed. Your thoughts on what the potential new sort of world of sports, arts and culture is going to look like when we get a chance to sort of emerge from our imprisonment?
Well, when we eventually emerge from the cocoons that we're currently living in, look, currently I can tell you, and I think the whole country now knows, that a few sporting events have been released on level 3. So it's non-spectator sport, though, including horse racing's now been given a go, the green light, as they want to call it. So rules and regulations still apply. I mean, taking into consideration, nobody can be on course or at a game or at a match. I think it's still nice in terms of people getting their sport full or fixed, rather. I think going forward, they're definitely going to minimize the spectatorship in the sport and probably televise a lot or have it behind closed doors. Alternatively, just putting up lots of barriers where people get to sit in different sections, in groups of 10 or so. But yeah, I think sports kept the world going for a long time, and the fact that it's coming back, I think a lot of people get to get their sanity back, if you can say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, from an entertainment point of view, I think a lot of people need a different form of entertainment, especially now that, like yourself, you've literally had yourself and your multiple personalities to keep you either entertained or preoccupied. But yeah, anything different, I suppose, is now going to add, hopefully, a more broader mix to our daily lives.
Yeah, I think a lot of it as well, what I've noticed is, for me personally, I mean, if you do chat to a few people, a handful of people on a regular basis, and the question's always, hi, how are you? How's your day? What did you get up to today? And you think in your head, what do you possibly think I've done the same thing for the last umpteen weeks? And I think a bit of sport, for instance, or a different bit of entertainment on TV give people a nice talking point, a bit of banter. So the conversation picks up and it's a bit something more interesting to talk about, other than what did you do today? And you're like, well, I watched this movie, I caught up on that series, I slept, you know. So I think it's going to give people a different talking point and bring a lot of people together at the end of the day as well.
Were you one of those guys that, sorry, were you one of those guys that started teaching themselves to bake or cook different things and then eventually threw the cookbook out the window?
The baking bug never bit me, rather. So I've never been a big baker. I've always enjoyed meal prep and cooking. So I've still kept it healthy, and I think living by yourself, the pros there were not being able to stock up on sweets and chocolates and chips and and not being able to go to the mall that frequently, even if you wanted a bit of a sweet tooth, you couldn't. So I've tried to stay healthy, yeah.
Okay. Obviously now, like you said, horse racing coming back. A lot of the, as government has put it, non-contact professional sports are allowed to come back. So I'm assuming we might start seeing more of the tennis, the darts, and the snooker, especially those guys that don't want to clobber each other. But like you said, you formerly in the horse racing industry, are you expecting maybe to get back into it real soon?
Well, we'd hope so, because we do need the revenue and the turnover and stuff like that. But aside from that, we do need the paycheck. So definitely hoping to get back to work as soon as we can. I do know our first race runs on the 1st of June, but in terms of big races like the July and stuff like that, we're still waiting for confirmation of how it's going to go and what type of work's going to be needed. So it's all much up in the air, and I hate to say it, but I think lately what I've experienced is we kind of figure out rules and regulations on the same day in terms of how we're going as South African citizens. So I can't really tell you what's going to be the basis of the July or next week Monday. But yeah, I can tell you that they are allowing only 12 horses per race. So that's your final field of 12.
And that for me is kind of bizarre, because obviously when the horses sort of have got to get into the starting gates, I mean, the gap between the jockeys is most certainly not 1.5 meters. So it's very, very interesting. And also I haven't seen much sort of data or scientific evidence about the fact that horses can't contract corona, or COVID-19. So a lot of questions happening around the horse racing industry.
We'll figure it out, and we'll know when the rest of the world knows at the same time. But as I know from research, animals can't contract COVID, but then I heard a tiger contracted COVID. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I know we're heading into the peak very soon of the virus, and winter's coming. So yeah, everyone should really, really keep safe. I even have my little mask. See,
and
I'm going to do a bit of a shop run soon.
Well, Clive, absolute pleasure talking to you. I hope you continue with the training regimen, continue with the sanity check. I'll most certainly keep in touch with you on a regular basis. Try and change the conversation up just a little bit. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for your time and for the nice chat. And it's good to see a familiar face.
Hopefully we won't take that long to keep in touch with one another again. And hopefully I get to see you real soon.
No, absolutely. And as I think the rest of the country knows, on Monday is the big day that everyone's counting sleeps to for that special store to open.
Yes.
So we'll crack open a one very soon.
Yeah, hopefully you're not going to stock up on too much ice.
Well, I think I might, because wine's great in food and with food. So, you know.
Clive, once again, thanks so much for your time. You keep well.
Good time. Cheers, guys.